Good morning, Top Fan Rivalry family. We are back again for another Around the Diamond with Grand Slam Sam, Baseball Bill, and we have a special guest on today. But before we get to that guest, Bill, how are you doing, sir?
I'm awake, alive, and alert. That's the best I can say on a Saturday morning, right?
That is the best thing you can say.
Listen,
And
you're on the East Coast, so this is a little later for you. For me, it's not
yeah,
even 8
you know,
o'clock yet. So hey,
I've had my hot cup of coffee. I'm now on to my cold cup of coffee. I have got birds chirping. The sun is shining. It's almost high noon. But we've got an awesome episode today. We have some great World Series baseball to talk about because I have been super, super pumped about this series. It has been nothing short of spectacular. But let's just jump right into it now. Bill, there's a guy, but there's a guy at the bottom of the screen. Can you give me a little intro?
who's who? Yeah, that's my good friend Joe. So Joe, welcome to the Around the Diamond. First and foremost,
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
you're welcome. It's great to have you on. So Joe, his Instagram is Wax Packs and Whiskey. So he does a lot of baseball card collecting and things like that. He's been on the podcast before. Huge Orioles fan. I was told this morning, Joe, that I was supposed to tell you from my wife that she is a huge fan of the underdog and she was pulling for the Orioles to get into the playoffs this season. So
No,
I've
I
done.
appreciate your wife. I like your wife already.
Yeah, exactly. I've
I was
done my duty.
I was actually hoping you guys were going to sneak in and take that last wild card spot. I was really, really pushing for it. I've been to Camden Yards. I've been to probably I think 8 parks now. Camden is definitely in my top 3. I love the history. I love the atmosphere, but I cannot wait to see what your team does for the next 5 years.
Oh
For the
yeah.
next 5 years, it's going to be an Oriole stampede on the
Oh
AL.
yeah. That AL East is going to be. I mean, it's already tough enough, but if you're going to throw the Orioles in, and you got Toronto, always New York, and Boston, Tampa. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mhm.
it's going to be the Wild West in the East.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yes. The NL West is now going to be represented on the AL in the East Coast Division because unfortunately the last couple of years Houston's just run away with it. The great thing about the NL West, and Bill can attest to this because he lives it like me, it's always a dogfight. Normally, it's always a dogfight.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this year was the Dodgers ran away with it, but in previous years, we fight it out till the end. So let's just jump right into this. Bill, you good with that? Bill, you good? We just jump right into this. Joe, you good with that?
Yeah,
Let's do
listen,
it.
I'm good.
Awesome.
I'm
All
still
right.
here. Let's do
So
it.
let's just start talking about these World Series games. Let's not do anything else. Game 1, Philly came out on fire.
Yep.
Beating the Astros in their house 6-5. Joe, what did you see from that?
I saw that Verlander was still being Verlander at the time. At World Series Verlander. So and Phillies were still riding their high, just going still off the NLCS hype. I mean, not the hype, but the NLCS energy. They still had that going.
Yeah. Wasn't it weird, Joe, as you were watching the game, like when they got up 5-0, I thought, okay, Houston's got this one, they got the momentum, but the Phillies don't get the nickname Fighting Phils for nothing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And they just kind of clawed back in that lineup. They're actually scary good, and you don't realize it because any one of those guys can come out and make it look good.
Oh yeah,
Any one of those guys.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, even that young kid, Bryson Stott, he's gonna be a stud coming up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Duck Dynasty's throwing his hat into the ring. We'll talk about that.
Yes,
You know,
Brandon Marsh.
yeah. I mean, these guys and Gene Segura, these guys are just amazing.
In
Yeah.
in the Angels Phillies trade for that all to happen, the Phillies won. They
Oh,
won.
absolutely.
They won at the trade deadline better than anyone else, in my opinion. And then
Go ahead.
What are you saying, Joe?
I said I was going to agree with you absolutely because their trades brought them to the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I will say this: if you want to teach somebody how to hit opposite field, you look at JT's swing in the 10th inning. Okay. He did not do anything. He didn't try to pull anything. He just went with the ball. He's strong enough that he hit it out of the yard. But if you want to teach opposite field hitting, watch that at bat. Period.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best at bats that I've ever seen outside of like a Tony Gwynn or a Cal Ripken or a Derek Jeter hitting opposite field.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we take that right into game 2, where Houston came back and said, we're not leaving our house and going back to the East Coast without a win under our belt. And came out strong, 5-2. What was the highlight for you seeing that game, especially, being on the AL? I'm sure you want the AL to bring it home for your at least division. May not want the Houston win, but what was it about the Astros and taking that game before going back to the East Coast?
It was just showing them that, hey, we're still for real. We're the Astros. We're not going to slide down because you're the fighting Phils and you just beat us. We put game 1, behind them. They're like full force ahead. Let's go. We're the Astros. We're going to prove that we don't need trash cans.
Or illegal bats like in game 1 or diving into pitches like game 1. We're good.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And that's something else I'd love to get your opinion on, Joe. So, obviously with everything going back to the trash cans and everything that, all the controversy around it.
Mm-hmm.
Bill and I talked about this last week, especially right after game 1. And we said that Houston needs to have the cleanest series you've ever seen in baseball.
Oh, yeah.
We know we all do things, we know it always happens, but to see that happen in game 1, where Diaz goes in and it was blatantly obvious. He literally leaned into the pitch after the pitch before almost clipped him in the head.
Yeah.
What do you as a veteran say to him?
I mean, make it less obvious. There's ways to lean into a pitch without going like diving into it. He was diving into the pitch.
Right.
There's other ways.
But would you say, like, guys, we know we're good enough, we don't need to do these types of things? Or like what would you do? Like, you're combating so much backlog.
I'll pull him aside. Like, I love the effort. Great effort. That's you can't do that right now. Still, you still can't do that right now because we're the Astros, unfortunately. Yeah. Maybe it was the Astros 2017 when they're the underdog. Okay, he's trying to win. I get it. Now, no, you're still winning over the baseball community right now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
if I'm honestly, I like your take on that, Joe. Honestly, if I'm Altuve, if I'm Breckman, or if I'm Michael Brantley Jr., any of the guys that were on the 2017 team, I would grab him by the back of the jersey, not lightly tap him. I'd grab him by the back of the jersey, shove him into his locker, and say, we don't do this. We need to play as clean as we can. And if you didn't want to, because he looked like he was defeated even before he got up to bat. Hey, if you didn't want to bat, then tell Dusty, hey, I don't want to bat. But
right. Yeah.
I mean, the side note to number 2, the game 2, though, which, besides for Diaz jumping in game 1, was, can we please say that we're going to be talking about Jeremy Pena for years to come as long as this guy's healthy? Can we not give that guy a lot of love? This guy is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe he's 25. He doesn't look like he's 15, but whatever. Let's
put on Santa's lap and just say, were you a good boy this year, or are you going on the naughty list?
I didn't wear any buzzers this year, Santa. That's good.
Yes, exactly. Step in the right direction. Step in the right direction.
I did not put my sister's pigtails.
Oh man, this kid though, Breckman had a game that game, but Jeremy Pena seems like he's in the middle of everything right now, which is great. I love that. But he seems like he's in the middle of everything right now.
Yeah. And talk
Love it,
about
love
a
it, love
complete 180 from the person before him too. I mean, just plug and play with him, man. That was unreal. Astros, they got a great farm system too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed.
Amen to that.
So we've only got so much time. Obviously, top fans, you could tell we could literally talk about this stuff for hours. But let's move forward. And I know these 3 games in Philly, let me tell you, I live 15 minutes outside of Philly. I could hear the cheers from the stadium outside my house. It was that loud. Let's just start with game 5. Let's just start with game 3. I mean, Joe, just like, do you come out any hotter than that coming down home?
Nope. I mean, that's great way to try to steal some momentum, get that momentum back. Like, here we go. Let's just launch some bombs. You get a home run, you get a home run, you get a home run. The Closer is like the Oprah of home runs. Everybody gets a home run.
It's like you were playing a video game. It's like you were playing a video game.
Uh-huh.
I called it a home run. I called it a home run palooza. Philly ran their own home run derby during the World Series and happened to be in game 3.
Yeah.
And again, it was the Oprah of baseball games. You get one, and you get one, and you get one. And that stadium was electric. It was electric.
Oh yeah.
But as you take off of that Oprah type of feel, let's just go to the next night. And you have another Oprah type of feel. You have 5 no-pitch and you have 5 no-hit innings, and you have 2 no-hit innings, and you have 1 no-hit inning. Like, how do you combat those first 2 games in the series? Back in Philly.
I mean, it's hard to top them, but man, second no hitter in the World Series ever. I never thought I would see it in my lifetime. To be honest with you, and I'm glad I got to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to clarify something though. I have to do this, guys. I have to do this because, as you know, I put World Series edition stuff up all week long and last week and everything like that on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting IMs from people that are telling me it's not a no-hitter because it wasn't thrown by 1 pitcher. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is a no-hitter. Nobody got a hit. It doesn't matter if it was pitched by 12 pitchers or 1 pitcher. It was a no-hitter. Period.
Yeah.
Show me the person that got a hit.
Agreed. The gavel is down. No-hitter.
Sorry, I got it. And I agree with you, Joe. I agree with you. I never thought I was going to see it in my lifetime. When Roy Halladay threw it in the championship series with Philly, I thought, okay, maybe that's as close as we're going to get. I wasn't alive for Don Larson in 1956.
Nope, I wasn't either.
But I got to tell you, man, that game and the way that Dusty orchestrated that pitching and being able to make sure that they were able to come back strong for the following game was magical as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Something like that, as you mentioned, Bill, takes me to think, would you say, Bill and Joe, would you say Dusty's extensive experience as an NL coach prior to them implementing the DH played a role into him having such a good outlook as to the pitching for that game? Because if you think about it, in the NL prior to the DH, it was all about mentality and all about how do you put this guy into here and make it all play out. So in AL, and Joe, you can attest to this because for the AL for the longest time, they've always had the DH. So would you say that with Dusty's extensive experience in that NL background, Giants, Nationals, Cubs, it allowed him the ability to put out this good rotation for that game?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, without a doubt, because he's playing chess when the other people are playing checkers with that. So yeah, like the old NL coaches will find a way to get that pitching done like that because, like you said, his background. And he's how many years has he been a coach? Over 30 some years, close to
Yeah.
40 years. So yeah,
Just as many
especially
decades as Verlander's played in the World Series. Well,
I'm gonna I'm
fun
gonna
fact,
say
quick
I'm
fun
gonna say
fact,
no.
Verlander has played in the World Series in the last 3 decades, at least one. Fun fact.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say his Tutelage under Tommy Lasorda and as a player got him there has nothing to do with him being a Giants manager. I just want to get that on record right now. So
Believe me, believe me, I will agree with you on that. 2002 World Series, I will still never live that. He will never live that down in my eyes. He will
you
never.
gotta kind of poke the bear. It's early enough, top fans, where we gotta kind of
Yeah.
poke the bear
But,
here.
but Bill,
I agree with Joe though. Yes, honestly, I when you take away and again, baseball purism, we're taking away more and more. It's almost like we're playing T-ball now. We're gonna start with the runner on second base. Boy, if the pitcher gets 80 pitches, their arms gonna be sore the next day. I double dog dare you to go out to Nolan Ryan in the 5th inning and say, hey, you're at 90 pitches. I'm gonna have to pull you. I want to see that manager that has that backbone to do that. Or do that. I mean, when Fernando Valenzuela threw his no-hitter in 1990, the very first thing that Vince Scully said was, Fernando's only thrown 111 pitches. He's got enough to finish the 9th inning.
oh yeah.
So I agree with Joe. I mean, listen, and it's a great question, Sam. You're you're a National League manager. You learn how to use your pitching staff because you have to a certain way. Now we've taken that out of the game, which okay, fine. It's awesome because you have older guys that can now extend their careers a little bit. But baseball purists, it drives you. I would have gone the other way, right? Why not just eliminate the DH completely? But that's another episode.
that is another episode. And Bill, my dad. He agrees with you 1,000%.
Mhm.
The DH, I actually don't mind it in one of the leagues over the other because it's in all honesty, look at every other sport and then compare it to baseball. Baseball is the only sport where prior to this year, the AL had one thing different than the NL. It had a DH. Other difference between baseball and every other sport is that the All-Star game actually means something. Yeah, it's a good time for guys to get together and have fun and hit a home run derby but if the AL wins, obviously it's changed. I believe it's changed now. Now it's whoever has the best record go season. But prior, if the AL won, the AL was the home field in the World Series. If the National League won, the National League was the home field advantage in the World Series. It meant something. Now I almost feel like it's becoming just like everyone else. Okay, we're not going to differentiate one to the other. We're just going to be like, everything's going to be the same.
Yeah, like a skilled competition, like the Pro Bowl and all that. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the home field advantage. I wish they'd bring that back. That was actually, I liked it.
It made it exciting to watch the All-Star game, especially if you were in a team that was in it. Like if you're a team that's in the top 2 teams in your division, in your league, you're like, I'm watching the All-Star game because if my team makes it, I want that home field advantage. There's no question. So it was crazy.
To wrap up game 4, though, I will say this before we go on to game 5. I will say this to wrap up game 4. Those pitchers threw extremely well in hitting their spots. You cannot take that away from them. And Christian, what was it? Velasquez behind the plate called a phenomenal game. You cannot take that away from these guys.
Yes. And, we'll hit game 5. And then, Joe, I have a follow-up question based off of what Bill just asked real quick. But you look at game 5, and I have been saying this Philly, in my opinion, needed to win that game. They needed to win that game. So looking at it from an outsider's perspective, does this give Houston the momentum to finish this right now? Like, what were your outtakes from seeing them just, win game 5 and go home?
I think they might still have back in their mind what happened to them with the Nationals back in 2019. I mean, that's always a possibility to haunt them.
Mm-hmm.
Nationals came back to Houston and won those last two, and those 2 games back in 2019 were phenomenal too.
Yeah.
So, and I think Philly's got basically almost like the same lineup like the Nationals did back then. So it could happen.
I personally, I'd love to see it happen because I want to see a game 7. I don't want to see this end tonight. There's no way.
No, yeah.
You gotta have Sunday Night Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday Night Baseball right alongside with Sunday Night Football. It's like a match made in heaven. It's I don't know about you guys, but for me, Fox and NBC are one above another. So I literally just have to go up one channel, commercial, down one channel, commercial, up one channel, commercial, down one channel. It's great. I don't have to do anything.
And
sit there, boom, 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 boom.
And speaking of game 5, again, who's the superstar in game 5?
Jeremy Pena. Started off home run and just kept the ball rolling. And Philly, the Fighting Phils fought. There's no question about that. They needed to they did not capitalize on runners in scoring position in that game. They did.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what lost them the game. They had every opportunity to blow that game wide open, and they didn't capitalize on it.
And Chas McCormick had that catch in center field too.
Oh my gosh! Good call.
That was game.
Not to take it back to the Giants, but it reminds me of Hunter Pence's catch when he jumped into the wall in the World Series back in 2012 against Detroit. Not to take it back, but
that
just
catch, the McCormick's catch, that, like you say, Joe, that was game saving because that would have been runner on second, maybe third with 1 out.
Yeah.
Yep. All you need is a sac fly to tie it up, then that's it.
Yep.
That was just brutal.
Now, the real quick question I had for you, Joe, is how do you see the pitcher and catcher, because I asked this question to Mike, our friend Mike from the other day, the relationship that these catchers have with these pitchers in this World Series, how confident, the confidence that these pitchers have in their catchers, what do you take from that? It's not just the pitchers throwing the ball, but for them to have the confidence that their catchers are calling these games as good as they're calling them, I almost feel like they need to be commended more than the pitcher.
Oh yeah, I mean, you got Christian Vasquez back there and Maldonado for Houston, both great, pitch callers. Then JT, I mean, JT's been top for the past 4 or 5 seasons.
Yep.
I mean, you can't go wrong with those 3 catchers right there. Yeah. I mean, Maldonado, bat wise, but calling plays, calling the pitches, they're one of the best.
Oh yeah. So let's we only have a little bit of time left, Top Fans, so we're gonna kind of breeze through the next couple of things because they're pretty quick. So we got game 6 tonight. Philly back in Houston. Philly needs it. They have no choice. This is do or die. But I feel like this is when they're at their best. Thoughts?
Philly wins 6-5, 11 innings.
Woo!
I like the call, Bill.
Woo! Philly wins 4-1.
Philly wins 5-2 in the 10th.
You guys are looking for extra inning baseball.
I am looking for extra inning baseball because that's where I feel like we're at this point.
Get some more free baseball. Come on, why not?
Look, Houston's going to start the pitcher that the pitcher starting tonight should really be starting tomorrow night. That's my opinion. Because he's the best pitcher they have on there, but in their bullpen. No questions asked. The superstar from game 2 should be starting tomorrow night, and he's not. And I don't think he's gonna have the same game he had in game 2 tonight. I think he's gonna get taken. And then Sunday Night Football tomorrow, guys. And I mean Sunday Night Baseball hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully we see finals. The final game of baseball is on Sunday night. I hope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm thinking game 7. And we got, as much as I hate to say, I'm gonna say Houston will probably win that one. I don't think they're gonna lose 2 at home back to back. But we are getting game 7.
I know what Bill's gonna say, so I'm gonna agree with what Bill's answer is to who's gonna win game 7. Bill?
Team with the
Who's
most
winning
runs
game
wins.
7? That's it.
Team with the most runs. I got to be very apolitical on this. So, team with the most runs wins.
That's it. So, top fans, here's our quick schedule for this coming week. Keep a lookout for it. Bill's Corner Monday. We got the World Series champs on Tuesday, and Mikey Bleeds Blue with 3 special guests coming on Wednesday, and maybe a couple of other things thrown in there. And then, Bill, you've got some great announcements for us real quick.
Yep. So, Top Fan Rivalry followers, make sure that you go on. I've announced it before, but make sure you go on and you join our Founders Club for our locker room access. What's super cool about this is this gives you, it's in essence, if you've got a code for it, which you can always reach out to us and ask us for a code. If you got a code, it's a little discounted, but the price will never go above $36 a year ever, as long as Top Fan. But as long as you're in the Founders Club, $36 gets you behind the locker room access. Not only that, we've got a couple of special giveaways that are coming up and some new merchandise that's coming up. So by all means, you'll hear about all of this stuff here pretty quick. So we're excited. Joe, I want to thank you for being on today. This has been phenomenal. I love your intake, and I love your call about game 6 and game 7. I always love doing this with Sam and Joe. We're going to have to get you on again with a couple other guys and have some fun with this.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. Appreciate both guys. I had fun, man.
Hey, Joe, thank you so much for coming on, man. Really appreciate it. And Top fans, from me to you, I'll see you on the field. Have a great weekend.